Hey guys, this is the Double Chen Show. How you doing?
What is up?
We found a interesting BuzzFeed article. The link is in the description box so you can follow along with us. 18 things everyone who peaked after high school will understand. First of all, I want to say in high school, it was really tough for me.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I moved around a lot. So if you moved around a lot, you would know it's hard to make friends. It's hard to just like jump in and be in a group or find people you can hang out with every day or eat lunch with. It's not easy.
It's really hard to fit in. For me, like I wasn't, like the popular kid, but it was really easy for me to fit in because I went to a high school where people really didn't care about fame. So I was really lucky. Boston, yeah. I was really lucky. No, but in Cambridge. Because if I had gone to a Boston high school, it would have been a lot more like, you cared about your who you were. But in my particular high school, people were very alternative. So we had our own group. So I never felt the need to fit in with other people.
Well, I went to a high school where everything was important because I went to a little high school in a little town. If you ever lived in a little town where, there's only one high school where there's like maybe one private and one public.
Yep.
Everybody cares about everything.
Exactly.
It's all about clicks. The cheerleader.
Yep.
It's like watching an episode of like what is that? Bring It On or
absolutely.
or High School Musical. It's like okay, the cheerleaders hunt together, the jocks, football players hunt together.
Yes, then the nerds.
We also had the cowboys.
Yeah.
We actually had people coming to school full cowboy outfit because I lived in Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and I didn't really fit in anywhere because first of all, I'm like the only Asian. Like, there's no Asian clique, because I'm it. I represent all the Asians in that town.
That's why you created the ninja. That's why you created the ninjas.
I created a game when I was younger called the Ninjas, and I was the only Asian.
Yeah, dude.
All the other people were white.
See, so for those of you guys that don't know, Mike created his own club called the Ninjas.
It was a game. It was a game. We would ride around after dark on bikes and like egg houses.
And like, see, the thing is, what you're describing, I would say for 95% of people out there, especially for the people that are watching and the people that I know, that's what they've gone through. That's what high school is. So for people that didn't do well, that weren't popular, they definitely peaked later.
Right.
They're like, yeah, I wouldn't do high school again.
Right. I hated high school because I went to 3 different high schools.
Yeah.
So I moved so much. Also, I was never one of the popular kids because, first of all, you have to it's easier to become one of those guys when you know people, you kind of grew up with people. I kind of inserted myself in. I was never I wasn't a jock. I wasn't in the drama.
Right, and you weren't like someone that just came over from China because you could speak English.
Right,
so it's like, who were you?
Yeah, I wasn't anything. So I didn't really have much
identity crisis.
Right. So I didn't like high school. It didn't really mean anything to me.
But I have a question though. Some people would take that as an opportunity to reinvent themselves.
That's fine, but I was somebody who, my parents had a restaurant in every city I moved to. I was child labor.
Right.
I was child labor. During proms, during homecomings. You know what? I waited on people that went to proms and homecomings.
I feel for you.
I had to work Saturday nights. I couldn't get out much.
Yeah.
So, and there's also no other Asians. There was one other Korean kid that went to my high school. And he was kind of popular, actually. He was like class president and whatever.
Right.
But never really
overachiever.
Yeah. So he wasn't that smart. He was just class president.
Right.
So I was glad high school was over. I peaked in college.
Yep.
I would never go back.
Well, you don't want to say you peaked. You definitely
came out of my shell in college.
Yeah. You broke out.
Right.
And you're not peaked because we're always
continue to grow and turn into a butterfly.
There you go, bro. There you go.
So.
There you go.
Never went back to high school reunions because which one do I go back to? I went to 3 high schools.
Yeah, like you didn't, and do you even hang out with your high school friends?
No, I don't remember. I have a hard time even remembering a lot of them.
I have a very, I even hang out with my high school friends now, but because we were we grew up together. Right. So anyways, I loved high school. I wouldn't do anything different. It's a good experience for me, but I know what you're saying, that I have a lot of friends that went through what you went through, so I kind of feel for you.
And honestly, if you guys are going through high school right now, and you're kind of experiencing some of this, I don't fit in, look, high school.
Yeah.
High school?
Doesn't mean
you will forget about high school.
Doesn't mean crap. And I could speak for a lot of my friends that, are like, man, high school, it's like, dude, forget about it.
High school will mean basically nothing to you.
Exactly.
When you grow up, even in college, like high school. You know, sometimes I'm in college, right? You see people coming in with their Letterman jackets.
Yeah.
After about 2 weeks, they take that off.
Yeah,
because
they're like,
this is not cool anymore in college.
And I would say, like, some people that went to college, they could actually feel the same thing because they went to a small college. And I would say, even during college, things don't matter.
Let's talk about this list. 18 things everyone who peaked after high school will understand. So number 1, you couldn't be paid $1 million to go through high school again. I would not want to go through high school again. You probably won't care. If you give me, I mean, look,
I don't care.
if you give me $1 million, yeah, I'll go through it again.
Yeah, but I guess
I don't want to.
I guess, would you go through high school again?
I don't want to go to high school again.
I wouldn't do it again, but it might be fun. I liked it.
You should go to my high school and be the only Asian there. You wouldn't like it that much.
No.
2, unless of course you could go back as the person you are now. Absolutely.
If
I know all I know now about high school, I thought about this in my head. I'm like, wow, if I did high school over again, it'd be so different because, you know, like in high school, you care so much what people think of you.
Exactly.
Let me tell you a story. In high school, I got a handed-down car from my dad.
Okay.
It was a Pontiac Safari 6000 that nobody ever makes anymore. Not only it was a station wagon.
Yeah.
That's like a like social suicide to drive around a station wagon. Not only was it a station wagon, it was smashed on one side.
Oh my gosh.
Not only was it smashed on one side, when I braked, you could hear the squeaking from 2 blocks away.
It's like,
I remember I showed up to buy a parking spot for my school. So I showed up and they were like, "Oh, you're so early, Mike. You can choose any of the closed spots you want." I'm like, "No, let me take this spot really far away. I'll just walk."
Right. You see, like that's the difference because your high school was like that, you know. And for me, I also drove a Ford station wagon. It was horrible, but because most people didn't care, I just drive it. I show up. I pick my friends up in it.
Yeah,
you know, it's just
people
like,
don't care.
Exactly.
Either like
but my case is rare.
Right, but
Your
also
case
like
is more normal.
Also like you know, if you do drive something bad where you wear clothing that's not really expensive, you either had to be really popular.
Yep.
Then you can pull it off. Then if you're really popular, then whatever, like no one cares.
Right.
But otherwise, you're gonna make fun of. You're like, oh, what kind of car do you drive? Oh, why aren't you wearing designer jeans or whatever?
So knowing what you do know now, but also, so what would you do different? Because it's not like you could say
I wouldn't do anything different because I really can't do much different.
You're not gonna buy a new car.
But my mindset is different.
That's the thing.
Because now I'll own it. I'll be like, I'll drive up my station wagon to the first spot. I'll be like, I'll be more outgoing, more social. I mean, like, I don't care what people think of me.
In other words, for you to do it over, you would actually don't care about all this stuff. So for me, what I would do over is, because I didn't care about this stuff anyways, but I would have taken advantage of my time and learned more things in high school.
Like what?
Like, a lot of things. Like, well, first of all, I would spend less time partying because I'd be like, that's useless.
Right.
Okay. So no, like learning, like furthering my instruments. You know, like doing more stuff that, like, I play the piano. I would just put more time into learning more stuff.
Right.
Because I put so much time into hanging out.
Yeah. All right, number 3, you try to avoid running into anyone you went to high school with.
I don't agree with that because if you peaked later, you
don't
want to
care.
Yeah, you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not trying to compete with people anymore. Unless you have a chip on your shoulder, unless you're like rich and you're like, then you would want to see people.
Right.
You know.
Number 4, it makes you laugh when people who barely knew your name in high school now try to add you on Facebook.
That doesn't happen to me because why would they?
You know why? You know why it doesn't happen to me?
Why?
I changed my name.
Oh,
because it used to be Crossing Chen, and I changed it to Michael after I was able to.
I guess that happens, but I can't even relate to that.
And of course, you know what's funny? I have added some friends from elementary school and middle school.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's when kids are actually nicer.
Yes.
Because not in middle school. Middle school was mean, but like elementary school, when kids were like nicer to you, they're like, oh hey, they're sweeter. So you have good memories from those times.
I've actually not done that. I've actually searched for them.
Yeah.
And not done it because I don't want to think that I'm a creep.
Why?
Well, because like, I don't know. I
had a bunch of guys, so I don't really care.
Oh no. Well, I was friends with like girls and guys. But like,
I was not friends
from
with
like
girls.
3rd grade though, like when you were 8 years old.
I know friends that were girls.
Anyways.
Number 5, and of course, when those who never looked twice at you in high school now want to date you. Wow. All right, that doesn't really happen.
It only happens in Friends.
Yeah, that's true. Chip. I was just watching the episode with Chip and Monica dating.
Dude.
Number 6, you have considered attending your high school reunion for the sole purpose of being able to show off your success.
Honestly, I think for most people, like if you're successful later, you just really don't care. It's like, why do you even need to spend the time
I think
to do that?
I didn't care because all right, I went to 3 high schools. I barely remember the people I went to school with. But let's say you were picked on in high school.
Right.
Let's say you were bullied and you went to the same high school for 4 years, and it's like you remember that stuff.
Then you would
then
do
let's
that,
say you invent like, I don't know, remember that movie with Phoebe and you know, what's that movie called?
Phoebe from Friends?
Phoebe from Friends. Something and something
She
goes
was in
back
a
to high school.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, Romeo and Michelle's high school wedding.
Yeah. When that kid like came back and like, showed
Right.
off, he invented some rubber for tennis shoes or something.
Right. So I think you do it only if you were picked on.
Right. Where you fall in love with someone in high school, you want to sweep them off their feet.
Well,
in a
even remember like
helicopter.
in the last season of Friends, Chandler and Ross went back to their reunion, and it just like they just look so miserable. Like who cares? Like, you know, it's just like ridiculous.
Number 7, but when you go to your class reunion, you spend the entire time wondering why. Okay, like you said.
Yeah,
why? Who cares?
Exactly.
8, people who you went to high school with often comment on how different you are present day. I don't even talk to people I go to high school with, so I can't relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are some people who they're like, "Wow, you were so different." It's like, why
maybe
do you
in a
still
little
even?
town when you still kind
maybe
of live in that little proximity.
Exactly.
But in New York City, like,
dude,
don't run
if
into
you
anybody.
move to a coastal city, you put your past life behind you. You know.
Number 9, but you're just like, nah, I've been this cool all along. You just didn't see it. Yeah,
that's also not true.
Yeah,
because
I was always this cool.
If they were drastically different, usually, you know, like for you, like you were like, I'm way different, and you notice, you know.
Number 10, you sometimes still find yourself staring at the ground when you pass a group of cool kids before you remember that you aren't 16 anymore. No,
we don't. No,
not really.
No, we don't.
11, you're still genuinely surprised when people seek you out because in high school most people didn't even know your name. What? No.
Yeah, but you know what though? This is for people who we don't fit in this category because even though we peaked, we grew later, we didn't resent a lot of things that happened to us, right? So I think this is for more people that they were picked on, they resented the whole experience, and now they've like really blossomed.
So this stuff is in their heads.
So yeah.
Number 12, but you eventually learn that just because someone doesn't recognize your greatness, it doesn't mean you aren't great. Well, I agree with the sentiment.
Yeah.
Definitely. You guys, I mean, everyone is great in their own way.
Yep.
Just that, you know, you don't know it sometimes and other people can't see it sometimes, but eventually that will come out.
Because of high school, you have always had a strong determination for life.
I don't think mine really
definitely
grew
not
from high school.
Yeah. But for some people, they might be like, I'll show you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if that's the case, if you're just
good for
living
you.
to show, you know, that's what I tell people now. Like, don't live for others.
Yeah.
Live for yourself.
You sometimes wish you could go back in time and tell yourself it's going to be okay.
That's
this
true.
is why
That's
we
true.
tell you guys
Yeah.
all the
We'll tell
time.
you.
Isn't that like that one common message we say in a lot of videos we tell you guys? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be
better
okay.
than okay. It's gonna be better.
Whatever you're going through, stick it out. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah. And try not to let it affect you so much.
You often feel like high school was ages ago because everything is different now.
That's so true. I mean, like
it has
things,
been ages ago for us.
I mean, look how things quickly change, right? Like when you get into high school, between the ages of freshman and senior, I mean, your outlook is totally different.
Right.
But then when you go to college, you're like, yeah, I just learned all this. Then you go back to being the lowly freshman. But then by the time you graduate, you're like, wow, I can't believe I was like that 4 years ago. So
yeah. And because you now know that nothing in high school really matters. Like we just said in the beginning, it doesn't really matter.
high school, college, nothing matters.
Doesn't really matter. You always felt like your life truly began the day you graduated from high school.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've definitely moved on to real life, but I would say even those 4 years in college could really go by, you know, in like that.
I think like after high school was when I was able to officially have a clean start.
Clean start.
As an adult.
Yes, absolutely. But then even after college, you're like, whoa.
And that's
all
another
right.
clean start.
There's another
as
clean start.
another age of your adulthood.
Absolutely.
And finally, but you know your experience in high school made you who you are today. Not really.
Yeah.
Not for me anyway. Maybe it's for some of you out there. Definitely not for me.
I really don't let I'm really different from who I was in high school, and I take it upon myself to not let something like high school or college define me. Because to me, you can't define yourself. You keep evolving. You know, like I always take my past year 2, 3, 4, and keep trying to better myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna put myself in a small container and be like, this is who I am. Like
this is what made me.
This is what made me. It's like me, I'm 31. Like I'm half, you know, like I'm not even close to who I'm supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sad. Like I have some friends who are like, well, this is who I am. And it's like, wow, dude, so you're not gonna grow at all as a person? Okay, that's fine. Right.
Yeah, so anyway, don't let high school, don't let college, don't let anything like that define you.
Right.
I know it's hard, but try to stand out from everybody in terms of like, okay, everyone is partying in college. Everyone is partying in high school.
Yeah.
Do something more productive with your time.
Absolutely.
Like you're saying, like you regret, you kind of spent a lot of time partying. You should have done something more productive.
I mean, I'll give you a funny example, right? Recently, you know, somebody very close to me went. They don't party, but they're of the age where they're 21.
Right.
Everyone's partying.
Yeah.
They never party. They're like an old soul.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, they got invited to a college party. They never go.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm gonna go see what's up. And they went and they were like, yeah, what the heck? Like, why would I waste my time? There's no real interaction. People are smoking and drinking. It's like, you know, 1, 2 in the morning. Like, why would I do that? But you know what? That party takes place twice a week. And if you're in college, you go to a party, you go to multiple parties like that, and then like you just wake up and things just like, what have I been doing?
Yeah.
And I think our fans have another problem.
What's that?
The parents play a huge role. Like a lot of this stuff, like they might even be too busy to think about their popularity, because the most important relationship at that time, the hardest one, is the one with their parents.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's another wrinkle.
That's true, guys. Being Asian ain't easy.
Ain't easy.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. See you later.
Peace.